Hello and welcome back to a movie watching podcast. This is Cody Michael. I'm joined as always by Seth Ott
It's a podcast.
and Jared Buckendall.
Oh, we doing this.
We doing this again. Welcome back. This is our I don't know, what is this, our fifth episode? I don't know. I'm not four? This got to be four.
6, 7.
Yeah, this is episode 4. We are back to talk about our coming of age movie that we selected last week, which is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Fast Times is from 1982. We talked about it last week quite a bit. Sean Penn, Jennifer Jason Leigh's in this. Um, this was an interesting experience for me. I caught this a couple nights ago. Um, and just like we've been talking about with some of these older movies, I think you see kind of maybe not the birth, but the early stages of a lot of tropes in here, right? You have the ass chasing teens. Um, I think what's different about this movie compared to the coming of age movies of the 2000s and our age is these guys actually catch the ass they're chasing,
Yeah.
which was a little jarring. I thought I'm just not really used to that compared to that was a style thing I noticed that has changed with the times is just the quickness with which people will get naked. Um, which I think is a good thing. That probably says positive things about the industry these days. Um, but yeah, you had Sean Penn kind of stumbling through. I think the thing that caught me off guard here was I expected to follow like a core like group of friends through a
Yeah.
narrative. What we got instead was kind of a bounce around of a lot of vignettes.
Mhm.
So at times it felt a little disjointed, but you got to see kind of a wide range of stuff, right? Did any of these things like stick out to you as your favorites?
I don't think necessarily. I mean, it's funny because I literally wrote that same thing down. I was just like, "Oh, it's just a bunch of like kind of like a shotgun approach,
Mhm.
different scenes throughout the school year, basically." Like when it was Christmas, I was like, "Oh, wait, is this taking place in California and it's Christmas this whole time?" And then I realized, "Oh no, it's just going through the whole year of school." Um Which you don't really get that, time passage. It's just like I
Mm-mm.
mean, aside from
Mhm.
Christmas, if you take that scene out, it's like, oh, it's all tagged it could have been taking place in a week or a whole year, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, it f t I think for me, what it did capture really well that I enjoy about coming of age movies is that, like because I think a lot of movies like that, like the high school movies, do that, like, whole year in time type of thing, like senior year or whatever, and I think it
Mhm.
did that really well, and I'm a sucker for that. I really enjoy that, just like, "One last
One
year,"
last go, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I don't know what it is. Um, so I enjoyed that part of it. I think you could tell, like, a lot of the kids especially, um, probably hadn't acted a whole bunch, which may have
Yeah.
helped in the high school awkwardness part of it, but,
Yeah.
um, some of the even believability of these kids being the roles they're playing was kinda off, but it was an '80s movie too, '80s teen comedy,
Yeah.
what are you gonna get? I think the thing that I enjoyed the most, though, was the Spicoli and Mr. Hand
Mm.
stuff,
Mhm.
the Sean Penn and then his teacher, like, that
Yep.
but especially by the end of it, which, like,
Had a
spoiler
little
alert.
Mr. Feeney to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yep.
Which, spoiler alert, at the end of that movie, Mr. Hand has a scene in Spicoli's bedroom. He
Yeah.
has just ripped the bong, and it is sitting there the entire movie, and this is the '80s, like, this guy should have, like, called the cops on this kid. Even if it is California, he's sitting there having a heart-to-heart conversation with him with a bong in the background. Like, that really stuck to me. I'm like, he would have gone to jail, and also, that teacher should not have just barged in and had a conversation with him. But
See, that threw me off. I was kinda like, "Why is he here?" I mean, I like this scene and everything, but I was kinda
Uh-huh.
just like, "Huh?" I mean, obviously, like a teacher, like
Yeah.
Cody, you're saying, the Mr. Feeney approach. Also, Seth, like, there's naked women all around the room, and the teacher's
Uh-huh.
just sitting there hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah, on the
I'm glad
posters
he
and that.
pauses to acknowledge it. It
Yep,
was gonna be
yep.
so annoying if he didn't say anything, but he finally gives it a nod at the end.
Uh-huh. But no, I thought that was a lot of fun. I like Sean Penn a lot in this one. He just he embodied the role he was supposed to play, and it was perfect. And seeing him as the just the younger character, and this compared to like just seeing him as uh in one battle after another. What's that character's name?
Oh,
Lockjaw.
Lockjaw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lockjaw.
Lockjaw. It was funny. There was some very, like, not whimsy, but, like, just goofy kinda, like, weird tropes where Sean Penn and his gang walk in and just take their shirts off at the restaurant. I was like, "What is this?" I was
Uh-huh.
very confused. Or then later when, Judge Reinhardt or whatever is, working at that, like, seafood pirate restaurant, and the 2 twins are, like, just talking about different sandwiches that are, like, seafood themed or something. I just got a kick out of that.
They did you have, Jared, at your school, one of these Spicoli types that just kind of floats around and is everywhere? I feel like we had a couple of them.
Mhm.
If we did, I couldn't pinpoint exactly that person.
Then it was you.
It probably was.
Yeah, it might have been you then. No, I did like him. Yeah, this had moments of being charming. I guess my you mentioned, like, seeing the inexperience in the actors. I think that was probably, like, all around. It seems like
Yeah.
there was a lot of inexperience just in the whole production.
Mhm.
Because like, occasionally the A&R was weird, and some of the shots were weird. They definitely didn't have intimacy coordinators, um,
Yeah.
or even lighting for those scenes. Jesus. They literally were just like, "Here."
Yeah, we have 1 take.
That shit caught me so off guard, um but you could tell that, and I guess this was based on a book, so
Mhm.
I guess you could tell that there was
Oh.
stuff underneath it, and, it was definitely charming in spots. I think it moved really quickly,
Yeah.
and there's definitely times where, um, some of the stuff would have been more impactful had it been allowed to breathe, but some of it feels, like, really rushed. The whole storyline with, Jennifer Jason Leigh and the pregnancy, if is that whole thing happens in 3 scenes.
Yeah.
And they're each like 90 seconds apiece. So I was
Uh-huh.
like, okay, maybe a little bit more breath for that one, compared to Spicoli and they probably spend more time with Spicoli and the history teacher.
Mhm, mhm.
But I did laugh quite a bit. I did laugh quite a bit. And I do think we had a pretty interesting matchup actually this week when you take a look at the bets. I don't know about you, Seth. So yours is the first that we'll take a look at here. You needed us to have over 2.5 visible pizzas.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, man.
and we talked about some specifics of this last week. Um, Now I remembered one scene, paying special attention and only seeing one pizza. Maybe you saw more than I did. Did you get your over here?
Oh, I got the over by a lot. So there
Okay,
were
I wasn't
there
paying enough attention then.
so there was like 3 or 4 because I quit counting at a certain point because I'm like, "Oh, I hit this by a ton." But there were like 3 or 4 scenes, separate scenes, individual scenes that take place over time because like Jared was talking about, it talks about like Christmas and there's like Christmas
Oh
decorations,
yeah.
all that stuff. Um, there was like 3 or 4 different scenes that take place inside of or in front of that pizza restaurant that Jennifer Jason Leigh works at.
Mhm.
In
In
the
the mall.
background in all of those scenes, there are 2 large, like, sheets of pizza. So that happens at least 3 to 4 times where so that's, like, at least 8 pizzas. There's there is also one scene, when Spicoli is in class and he gets
Yep,
delivered a pizza.
yep, the double
Um,
sausage.
yeah, and then Mr. Hand passes it out to everyone.
Mhm.
I think I wasn't counting that one. Yep.
So,
Yeah, because Seth, like you're saying, at the restaurant, the pizza one, they're, like, making the pizzas or putting pepperonis on it
yeah.
at one of the
And
scenes.
and there's a bunch of people eating pizza in those scenes. There's an entire slice of pizza given out multiple times.
Pizza galore.
Yeah,
I wouldn't pay
Oh,
enough
I hit
yeah.
that by a mile.
Oh, yeah.
Which yeah.
Success
You're
on the board.
rolling in the dough.
Bingo. Some sort of maybe a cookie and a star. That'd be a good one.
Get a cookie and a star.
You get a fucking cookie and a star.
Let's go to you, J Buck. Now I was nervous about this one, but I think you hit it. Did we get our bong rip?
Yes, we did. I was very nervous, and I did a jump up because I watched this right before this recording. I did a jump up at 1 hour and 15 minutes and 15 seconds because that's right when the bong, and it's like on screen for like 1 second, and then
Mhm.
it's set down next to him. So I was like,
That's
okay, at least I got him physically smoking it.
That's the Spicoli scene with Mr.
Yep.
Hand.
Yep.
I laughed so hard. So Gina watched this with me, and I don't think she understood why I laughed so hard when he beat me down. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
You got it.
Oh man! All right, so J Buck is also on the board. Give
Got
him
some
a sounder
points.
here.
Ding ding.
I now I got pretty excited because I got on the board early. Um, I was looking for at least two different slurs that would
Oh.
no longer be used today. Um, I counted one,
Uh-huh.
which was when Spicoli was surfing. He called someone the F slur for like no
Yep.
reason at all. But I really thought
Um,
there'd be more, but I only remember getting the one. I don't know if you guys
so
were counting.
the only other one that I can think of, I don't know if I should. I don't know. I don't want to say it. There was a sign put on someone's back, and it said their
Oh
name
yeah.
is a slur for a homosexual person.
Oh, does
It's
that
short.
count?
I does
Wait,
that
did the
count?
bet say or just it needs to be present?
I I'm not gonna fight for the point because I was implying that they'd be spoken.
Okay.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay. Fair,
even if we
fair.
didn't make it specific.
I That's
So
the
I
only one
guess
I see. I'll say that's the only one that I noticed. I guess.
mhm,
Mhm.
I didn't
Same.
notice I didn't notice the other one, so I counted that as one. But that's
yeah.
just me.
Yeah, I think I guess good for Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I really
Yeah.
expected to blow that out of the water. I really did.
Yeah.
All right. Now here was a little bit more specific call out, Chef. You expected one of our stoner buds to be arrested. But much like you
Ah.
were saying about Mr. Hand, it seemed like people were a lot more accepting of the ganja here.
Yeah.
I didn't see any arrests.
Yeah, I thought Spicoli should have got arrested at least in that scene with the bong, but no, no one got arrested.
Or when
So
he was driving the car.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah.
Good lord. Yeah. So no, do not get the 3-pointer this week.
I did laugh pretty hard with the car though when he blamed it on the opposing team and Forrest Whitaker beat
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody. That was pretty good.
Uh
There's a whole scene that could have been in there where he's just like they're bashing it up more and smacking it and spray painting.
huh.
Man. Spicoli's got those street smarts they talk about.
He does get away with a lot in that movie.
All right, so we go on to J Buck, your 3-pointer. Now, Seth blew his pizza bet out of the water. I was on the lookout for a cheeseburger. I had one suspected cheeseburger spotting. Did you get over on this one?
Yeah, what the bet was someone needs to interact with a cheeseburger, I believe.
We needed a
And
cheeseburger interaction.
yeah, a
Yes.
cheeseburger interaction. The problem is all I saw was the burgers on the grill. No cheese present, so that didn't count.
Oh,
Did you
that's
see though, was there a cheeseburger somewhere else?
that was just a
Okay.
burger interaction, not
Yeah,
a
that was just a
cheese.
burger, and I was like, put the cheese!" And then he skipped, and he's like, "Oh, what kind of dressing are we doing?" I was like, "No, the cheese!"
Okay, so we might have to go back to the tape on this.
Oh, that's so funny.
So there's a scene where a guy like returns a burger.
Oh,
I
when
think.
he returns the food because he's like 100% best breakfast or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because that I thought that was an English muffin.
Okay, okay, you were paying attention. Okay, because that was the one time where I was like, oh wait, was that a cheeseburger? But I didn't go
Mhm.
back because I expected you to be paying attention.
See, I thought it was a cheeseburger, but then he
This is
said
the best.
breakfast, and I was like, "Oh yeah, why would he have a cheeseburger for breakfast?" And I think it was an egg and an English muffin.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So no, just a burger interaction, cheeseburger, no go.
Close but no cigar.
No, nope, no cheeseburger present. And I thought it would definitely easily be within the first scene or two because the mall was showing all the
Yeah.
food court and stuff, and I was like,
100%.
"There's gotta be a cheeseburger somewhere."
Well, and then also the guy fucking worked at a burger place at first,
Yeah,
whatever his name was. So if he would have stayed working there the whole time, then maybe he would have gotten it.
man, robbed.
I wonder if it has anything to do with Like if they were gonna have a cheeseburger as a prop, they would have to actually make a cheeseburger, which is a lot more difficult than just ordering a pizza. I wonder if that has anything to do with it, since this seems like kind of a shoestring production.
Maybe.
They w they were just ordering pizzas for the cast and then using the spare as, props.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And
I
the
sh-
empty boxes they just reused. There's
Yep.
actually only 6 pizzas that they ever had.
I do wish we could go hang out at that mall though. That place looked awesome.
It did. It did look
Very
cool.
classic mall. Did it seem like that was I don't know for sure. Is that the mall that, that Stranger Things is based on? Looked kinda familiar to that one.
I was thinking that too. Yeah, that I mean, I don't know if it's the same exact one, but it was very nostalgic.
Mhm.
Pretty fun looking across the mall at your boo that works at the other store. Oh, man. Classic stuff. I never did it, but it was in shows I used to watch all the time, like Sister, Sister.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, okay, so I'm not gonna get my 3 points. I was looking for a timed drag race to take place. The closest we got here was Spicoli
Driving down the
stealing
street or
Forest
whatever.
Whitaker's car for no reason at all. There was not even any context for that.
He's just
That was just a
driving.
smash cut to Spicoli and this guy
That's his
in the
brother.
car. That's who?
It
It
was,
was
Forest Whitaker's brother, I think.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So he knew Forest Whitaker, but we don't even know why this guy knows Spicoli.
Yeah.
And he's just screaming down the road, driving between the lanes. So, yeah, but no, there was no stopwatch on him. So no points for Co.
Mm.
We're on to our 5 pointers. Uh, Seth, you were I don't think I saw this. We were looking for the businessman who was credited. We were looking
Oh,
for him to be a
yeah.
door-to-door salesman who was hawking vacuums. And I don't remember seeing a door-to-door salesman with vacuums, but I also don't remember what the businessman was actually doing. Did you catch that?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I
Wait,
just
there
know
was
there
a
was
businessman?
yeah, and I can't remember what I remember this I remember like clocking it when I watched it, but I can't remember now because I didn't even write it down because I'm like a that's not a vacuum salesman.
Mm.
Um, but no, I think he's at I think he's at the mall somewhere. I think technically is what the businessman was doing because it wasn't really the script. Um, and if I probably looked further into the casting, I probably should have like thought, oh, if it was a door to door salesman or a vacuum salesman, they would just be called vacuum salesman and not just generically. So that's
It's a
just a
good
lesson
point.
learned.
It's a good point.
But nope. Uh 5 pointer.
No 5 pointer there. We'll go on to my 5 pointer. I now I thought I might get this the way Sean Penn was going, but he didn't quite get this wild. I was looking for Sean Penn to verbally say that he loves black girls.
I mean, he was
Like
getting close when he was cruising around with, Forest Whitaker's brother. I was like, "Oh, we're getting close."
I thought maybe they would go to the east side of town and hit up a little barbecue and see what was going on, but nope. Just wrecks the fucking car instead and
Yeah,
blames it on the guys across town.
man.
So we now move J Buck to your 5 point question. Right now, we're all knotted up at 1 point Seth, 1 point Jared. So the bet here, and we spent a little time going around on this one. So we nailed it down on. So we needed a top 20 hit that was either sung or heard by the characters within the film. And there was a lot of edging for this in the movie, I
Yes,
must say.
yes.
The very opening scene, we move all the way throughout the mall, and I thought for sure they were gonna zoom out and show you like, "Oh, this is coming out of a jukebox or something." I don't remember them doing that. I came up with 3 candidates, and maybe there were more, but I caught 3 candidates. One of them was the song "Kashmir," which is by Led Zeppelin, which, he recommends to his buddy to put that, song on, to put the
Yep.
tape on side
Mhm.
B and play it when he's about to do it, then that song comes on. So Kashmir is one candidate. Candidate number 2 was Life in the Fast Lane, which I believe is played by like a cover band,
Yeah, it's
if
the
I
band
remember right.
the band, because I looked at the cast, is called Reeves Chivo, and then it
Oh
That's
has,
my
like
right.
yeah, it's
gosh.
Reeves Chivo and the something, I can't remember the Clash, maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Shout out Reeves Chivo
Reeves
for
Chivo.
for life in the fast lane. And then my third candidate here was also sung during the one of the dance or one of either the dance or concert scenes, and I think Spicoli gets in on the action. We had Wooly Bully
Mm-hmm.
later on in there. Okay, and so those three candidates, we need to find out if any of these were ever a top 20 Billboard hit. So if you look up, I asked Gemini this, and as long as Gemini's not lying to me, first I'll look at Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. Came out in 1975. Did not chart. That's a B side, not a hit, apparently. Not all
Wow.
Led Zeppelin songs are. So we have Life in the Fast Lane and we have Wooly Bully. Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles peaked in 1977 at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100, and Wooly Bully by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs in 1965 peaked at number 2.
Yeah,
Whoa!
buddy, Wooly Bully.
So Wooly Bully knocks it over the fence
Wow.
and drop the LeBron sounder here because J Buck is taking home the Fast Times betting game.
Sweet. I am so glad you did that legwork because I forgot the little like thing I put in the bet or you guys put in the bet of someone needs to actually be hearing it because I was writing down all the songs from the soundtrack and then I was like, "Oh yeah, I easily got it." And then when you
Yeah.
said that, I was like, "Uh-oh." So hell yeah, man. Out of all the songs, I can't believe Wooly Bully was the one.
Mhm.
See, when that came on and they were singing Wooly Bully, I remembered thinking that's got a chance to be it because I know that song's old enough when there was
Mhm.
only ever a handful of hit
Yeah,
songs at a
there's
time.
like 12 songs, yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought maybe, but number 2 was a little bit surprising. I thought Life in the Fast Lane must have been a number 1
Mhm.
'cause
That
that
was
seems like a hit to me, but
but that still would've counted because you said top 20, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That
top
one would
20,
have been
yeah,
on its
yeah.
own. It was number 11.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there
Man,
we go.
wow.
J-Buck with 6 points brings home the win this week. Um, so you get to lead us now, Jared, in our reviews. Do
Ooh.
you have your pull quote yet? And what's your score out of 5?
I do not have a pull quote. I forgot to do that part. I'll give it a score. You might have to check out my pull quote over on Letterboxd because I'm a little speechless. I'm a little blank right now. I think out of 5, I'd probably give it a 3. I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't anything that was like super memorable. I'm kind of surprised that it's made its place in pop culture or coming of age movies, but also like you're saying, the tropes. I mean, we've seen stuff so many years now that maybe it started with that, and I'm just numb to it now. I will say one thing, I was, that opening scene where they went to the point or the ball diamonds, I was like, "Man, this did not age at all." The guy was, like, 26 and she was, like, 16.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, that was pretty rough. And also because they have to move so fast, it's like the second thing he says to her.
Mhm.
"What do you wanna do? Let's head to the point."
Yeah.
Man. Do you know where you came down yet, Seth?
Yeah. I'd probably give it I liked it a little more. I'd say like 3.5 probably is where I'd go with it. My pull quote or whatever we're calling that. Um, I would say, "Holy Spicoli."
Oh,
Uh,
there you go.
a fun but dated high school romp.
I like it. So Chef gives it 3.5 out of 5. I guess I see. I was having a hard. So for the second straight week, I want to come down lower than you guys. And last week, I or last time, I think I did, but not by as much as I wanted to. I guess I'm gonna come down at 2.5. I'm just gonna. I just thought because of the pace, you couldn't settle into anything.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna say flashes, but never lets you settle in. and I'm going to call it 2.5 out of 5. And so if you run it, Jared, as a straight average, then we're going to be right on 3 out of 5. Is that what you want to stick with for the show's official review?
Yeah, we'll stick with that. 3
So
out of 5.
three
Man.
out of five for Fast Times at Ridgemont High, going up on the letterboxed. You'll see Jared's mystery pull quote
Ooh.
over there if you go check it out. Make sure you follow us so that we can go and see your review. Let us know if you came in higher or lower than us. Also, let us know what are some of your favorite coming of age movies that we missed out on. Maybe we'll come back to this topic. And so let us know if there's some that we didn't talk about or that you want us to watch.
Real quick, I definitely see where you're coming from on like the disjointed thing. For me, that's kind of one of the things I liked about it.
You were into
Um,
that.
because it felt like a year of school, like a year of high school, where it's just like, if you're thinking back on those times, it is kind of like you don't remember it as like one narrative. You know what I mean? Like you kind of remember it all in
You think of
those
the
moments.
goofy moments, the milestones, the
Yeah.
proms, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So as a movie, it might not be the best, like edited movie, I
You know,
guess.
I could see that point though. Yeah.
But I think I was kind of immediately into that like mindset of like this is a high school, a year of high school or something. I think that's how it presented to me right away. And so I was just kind of along for that, that disjointed kind of storytelling. But I definitely could see how that is off-putting too. And again, probably not the best edited movie unless that was the intention.
Mm.
That's just kind of how I looked at it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a chance that's a lot of my expectation too, because like I said, I was expecting more Days of Confused
Hmm.
Mhm,
than what we
mhm.
got. So, which by the way, they just played that for a special 420 show
Oh,
this week.
fun.
They played Dazed and Confused, so I got a kick out of that. I didn't go, but all right. So, we're gonna do something cool for our next movie, something a little bit different. So, as the winner, Jared is gonna get to pick the theme for our next movie. But we're gonna actually delay his pick by an episode because this week we are all going to hit the theater for a little appointment viewing. We're gonna catch this week's new release, Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic. So because we're gonna do a movie that's out in theaters, we want to give you guys an extra week to make sure you watch it and can catch up with us. So here's what we're gonna do: we're gonna catch the movie over these next 2 weeks. Next week, you're gonna hear the bets that we made on Michael, and then the following week, you're gonna hear our review. So make sure you come out for both of those and go see Michael in theaters. I assume you're gonna want to see this in large format. That's what all of our plans are. I know I'm catching this in IMAX. So make sure you come on back next week and hear our bets for Michael. And again, the following week, you'll hear our review and who won the bet. For now, though, we are going to talk about a little bit of what we've been watching this week. And it doesn't sound like you guys saw very much, so I think I'll lead the way here. First of all, I'm going to give a recommendation to Lorne. This is the Lorne Michaels documentary that just came out this last week. Apparently, the only documentary that Lorne Michaels is ever going to do. And so that was kind of the marketing around this. They got a lot of people back in the cast. It looks like this was shot during um, one of the Timothy Chalamet episodes from the last couple years. It looks like they were doing a lot of the footage during that taping because
Mm.
there's a couple scenes where Chalamet is like there. And so I got a kick out of that. I don't know how much time they spent with Lorne, but they had some pretty exclusive access to him. And they went away from the show. Like you always see him in the show, but they went a little bit into his outside life, only a little bit, but some. And they got a ton of really good interviews for this. You learn a little bit more. I learned a little bit of history I didn't know about the show, which was interesting. I kind of know it in spurts, but it really went through it in a really consistent way that I hadn't seen in a long time. And so I really dug this. If you're an SNL fan, you're probably going to watch this anyway. If you're not, I don't know why you would see it if you're not into Saturday Night Live. But I did think it was cool. I thought it was really well made. This is Morgan Neville, who's the director. He did "Won't You Be My Neighbor" a few years ago,
Mm.
which made us all
Oh,
cry.
okay.
That was awesome.
And
Yeah.
then "Piece by Piece" a couple years ago was the Pharrell one. I saw that one. That was really fun. So yeah, go see Lorne. I like that one quite a bit. Um, I don't think I can be as recommendatory on Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I went I went to this, I was telling the guys this before we started recording. I went to this at 9:40 PM. So I went to this at a late night show, and I'm just gonna tell you guys straight up, I had a nightmare that night.
Oh,
Um,
no.
and I don't know if it was about the movie, I don't really remember, but I don't have a lot of nightmares. Um, this movie was fucking scary. Like,
Whoa, really?
dude, like, it, it just was really dark and pretty shocking at times. It wasn't the kind of scary where, like, I personally felt in danger, but it was definitely like a, "Oh my god," type situations, you know? The mummy
What
in this is like a little girl, so that helps, you know, and she's doing a
I
lot
don't
of
know if it's
real gnarly
scary.
shit. Um, the I would say I don't know what people are expecting when they hear mummy, other than it was Brendan Fraser in it, which, like, 5 people asked me when I told them I was going to that, but I would say expect more of an exorcism type movie
Okay.
than like a mummy, right?
Ye
Because this effectively this girl is doing some scary shit because she's being influenced by a mummy is more of the story than like a fucking mummy is walking around. You know what I mean? And I think the trailer gives that. I don't think that's a spoiler to say, but there's some real there's some crazy shit in here. It's a little over 2 hours. I
Not too
wouldn't put it
long.
on like the psychological level as like a, you know, hereditary or those kinds of things. But definitely
like a possession supernatural?
yeah, like think The Exorcist meets that the Jessica Biel version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where it's got that kinda gnarly look to
Yeah.
it. Like that meets The Exorcist. And that's actually a pretty
Weird.
I'm gonna give myself one pat on the back for that because I think that's a decent mashup.
Mhm.
Um, Other people are gonna see this and call me a pussy. I don't know. I haven't seen what other people think of it or not, but this movie scared the hell out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm hoping I don't remember too much of it for very long.
Man, I mean, I definitely don't think I think it's probably too soon to do this. Because I definitely don't think I'm gonna see this movie. Um, I would love a good old fashioned Cody explains a horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
I would need to see it again to do that, and I
Uh-huh.
don't know if I wanna do that. Maybe I will though. Maybe for the content. We'll see. Let us know in the comments if you want that. If you're too afraid to go, I'll go for us and bring back a report. If honestly, if one person comments that they want that, I'll do it.
I'm gonna get on my burner.
Is it a good movie for that? Is there like a lot of twists and turns and whatnot? Like, is
Um,
there good lore to it and
I would
stuff?
say yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say yeah. There's yeah, it's not shocking in its twists, more so in its content, but I think there's a yarn to be spun through there. I could spin you a tale.
Does this Lee Cronin fella, does he have the sauce?
So,
Mariana.
I don't know if the whole thing is if he's like Del Toro where it's all his vision,
Mhm.
or if he's more of um, the director side and more of the aesthetic is
Okay.
more due to him, or if he wrote it. So, I don't know, like, what parts of it he did, but I would say yes. Like, if any of those things were what he specializes in, I think all of them worked really well. So I'll see whatever he
Hmm.
does next, or maybe I'll check out. Let's see what he's got in the past.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first movie I've ever heard of that guy's.
Also, when you said Del Toro, the first thing I think of is Benicio, which forever now will make me think of a few small beers.
Some feel smart viewers.
I'm gonna have to have a few small beers before I go to that movie. Did he do? He directed Evil Dead Rise.
Oh,
Rise.
wow. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep, and he's doing the next one. Evil Dead Burn comes out later this year.
Burn.
So he's definitely into, like, creepy okay, wow, he kinda has an aesthetic then.
Yeah, there's some gore, there's some creepiness. Yeah, he knows his stuff. Probably needs therapy. Um, Hey, one more thing before oh, you can see The Mummy and Lorne in theaters now. Go check both of those out. Um, one more thing before we go. I want to give a quick take on this and see what you guys think of this. So I saw news from Marvel this week, and I know J Buck saw this, Seth. I don't know about you.
Mm,
So apparently they're gonna re-release Avengers Endgame at some point this year prior to
Hmm.
Avengers Doomsday coming out. And we're big Marvel heads. So of course we're all gonna go see that. Um, And what they're saying is that there's new footage in Avengers Endgame in this new re-release that is going to be vital, quotes, vital
mhm.
to understanding what's going on in Doomsday. I think this is reprehensible horseshit to retcon the most expensive and successful movie ever made. You're going to retcon that in some way to sell this movie seems really stupid. Also, it's a pretty blatant marketing yank, which I think is that's kind of the big eye roll of it all. Is it's just a chance for them to get a re-release so they can put more money on the back of that box office record from before. But I think this is borderline unforgivable. I thought it was horseshit when they started moving canon stuff into the shows. I thought that was crap. And they kind of eased up on that. This feels like a big leap to me. I am personally offended by this. That they think they can do this pisses me off.
They're trying to clue us by changing or adding, it's like the ending has a different ending to it, basically.
Quick, quick question. Um, did they clarify, like specifically say if it's like an added scene or if it's like a post credit thing?
I don't think we officially know yet. Part of me assumes that it would probably be just like, I don't know, a 5-minute stinger at the end, and that's maybe even pushing it. 5 minutes is insane. It's probably gonna be like a 30-second end credit scene.
That's what
But if see, I don't think that it's that much. It's just like, okay, cool. Why don't you release it online? I get that they want to make money from it. But if it's more than that 30-second or minute end post credits that didn't exist before, then it's like, yeah, what are you doing? Because this is like an HD remix, definitive version of a movie that came out 8 years ago.
Well, and now this version's gonna exist where like, what if the scene is I have 2 theories. I think they're gonna add maybe the deleted scene where after the snap it shows Tony in the soul gem with Morgan
Oh,
and
okay.
imply that his soul's still out there because that it could be as simple as that, which would still annoy me, but okay, fine. But like, what if they add a scene where Tony Stark fucking like walks off? Isn't that gonna ruin Endgame for you? Like, for me, that would. I don't wanna
But
see that. It's
did
one thing to imply that that shit's happening, 5 years later, and we know they had to go and recast him and all that kinda shit. But if you just add it to that existing story like it was always the case, I think it just takes the piss out of that movie. I would
my
way rather see them release new shit as like a one shot if we're gonna do that.
my thought. I don't think anything will change with end. I think that would be crazy if they do
mhm.
change Endgame in some way, like like change a scene that's completely different than what we saw. My thought is because of the Cap stuff, there will be more Cap scenes of him at some point in time.
Oh, him, like,
That
going back to different places or something?
that might help explain why he's gonna be around. Um, that's my thought.
I mean, I could see it as simple as him dancing with, Peggy, and then they get a knock at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's half of a second or not even time added, just a sound.
Yeah. I don't know, it's fascinating because, yeah, we could sit here and speculate, and they could go as big as they want or, like,
Yeah.
as subtle as they want.
We're gonna know as soon as they put out the runtime of the re-release version. We'll know how much new footage it is, and they'll probably start advertising around 4 new minutes of footage or whatever.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, what was it Endgame or was it Infinity War when they released that, like, unfinished scene of Hulk, and it basically looked like PS2 graphics? Do you guys remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah.
they got us with that, and, like, yeah, these Marvel heads will go out. I mean, I'll probably go see it again just to get the feel of seeing that in IMAX again. But, yeah, if it's just a throwaway scene like that, I'm kinda like, "O okay, cool."
Yeah.
But I get it,
It
they
can't
have to
be.
juice
It's
it up
got to be
because, like,
vital.
Yeah, like, they need to, like, hook up the wires and juice this thing because I don't know, I don't feel like the oomph is there. I mean, once the trailer drops and the marketing kicks in, I'm sure my tune and a lot of other people's will change, but right now I'm kinda like, "Okay, the movie's coming out."
Mhm.
I wonder if they're gonna need, uh, like a post-credit scene in Spider-Man. I wonder if
Mhm.
that's gonna be the kind of
Mm.
Viagra pill. I don't know if that would have
That
been in
would
their original plan or not, but if they feel and I don't know what they feel like, but if they felt like they were behind in terms of groundswell, that would be one thing to do.
man, it would be weird if when he snaps, flashes, and you find out that right then that snap is the hammer hitting in a different universe where he doesn't get out of the cave.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's right into the other
Mhm.
he's gotta doom it up.
I don't know. Who knows? But I agree, yeah, they're kinda, like, doing these kind of goofy things to, like, retroactively, like, change things to connect because, like, unfortunately, their original plan kinda got mushed up and everything.
Yeah, and I'm cool with a retcon in general. I'm cool with, you know, do what you gotta do or release a oneer or even fucking make me watch a show, I guess. But the idea of compelling me to go watch a re-release with new footage, that pisses me off. Maybe that's me being really specific, but let me know if I'm the old man yelling on his porch in the comments, or if this bothered you too. But that's what's going on with us this week. Again, you can go check out The Mummy and Lorne in theaters. And coming up this weekend, go check out Michael. We're going to be back next week with some bets for that movie. And then I'll review again for that in 2 weeks. Don't forget to go hit out the Letterboxd to see more on our review from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Thanks again for listening. For Seth Ott and Jared Buckendahl, this is Cody Michael, and we'll see you next time.